A long time ago, I saw Scream for the first time and didn't think much of it. But this year, I watched all of the Scream films back to back right before the sixth one came out and watched that as well. So I watched them all for the first time, basically, all back to back within a 3 day period of time. And I recorded my reactions with Justin Proper on my channel here if you guys want to check out longer perspectives of what I think about those films right after I watched them, essentially. But it's been a little while since then, and I have not rewatched them yet. I plan to around October this year to rewatch them all again. But Scream has jumped from being a franchise I thought I was going to obviously hate to being a franchise that is one of my favorites. I freaking love it. And it's so bizarre because like I'm not usually a slasher or a horror fan necessarily, but I don't know, the last year or two I've seen enough movies to give enough variety that I am starting to like I'm moving the scale toward liking the horror genre. There's still not enough I've seen yet that I like to be fully on that scale, but a film franchise like Scream definitely helped move that needle quite a bit. I was worried that all of the meta referencing that they would sort of do with like having the stab films in the movies themselves, and they're like aware of horror tropes entirely and about the initial movies, sequels, and a trilogy. Like I was worried that this kind of stuff was going to really damper the films, and I was going to be rolling my eyes big time, going like, "Oh my god, screw this stupid concept and stupid movie." But no, I freaking they did it really well, and I feel like it's very easy to get this type of thing wrong, but I think that they just did it really well. They didn't slip up enough. They did well enough to get by with it. Not just get by, I mean, they succeeded. Like, I like them. People keep on asking me what I would rank the Scream films at films the Scream films as, like, what order would I put them in, but the first, second, and third one, I feel like based on my first watch through of them, and remember I watched them all back to back, and there wasn't like that's all that I have of them right now is those that one watching of each of them back to back with each other. I think that they're all equally good, those first three, but for different reasons. Like the first film is good in its way with it revealing that there's like two killers there and doing everything that it needs to do in that film. And then the second film doesn't achieve the same stuff, but it achieves what it needs to as a sequel. And in that way, like continuing off from what was Scream 1, Scream 2 in a way is equally as good. And then number 3 for wrapping it up, tying things together, revealing a little bit of something you thought you knew enough of and like how that happened and how it connects to the main character. They did that really well too. So it's like to compare them and say which one is the best is really tough for me. So I kind of put them as the same, but for different reasons. They're on equal level, but they're not exactly equal. There's different degrees of their qualities that put them on that same level, I would say. And then we go to the fourth one. That one is definitely when I rewatch that one, like when I finally rewatch that one, I will be curious what I think because right now I'm 50-50 on it. Like there's a lot of in that one that I really liked, especially with what all the Scream experts told me that I watched that with, or I didn't watch it with all of them, but you know, there's Justin Proper, there's Runner, there's Tom Connors from Night's Edge, there's Fan Scene. Like these guys are the Scream masters, essentially, at least in my neck of the woods that I converse with about this stuff. And they liked 4 as well and told me a lot of information that was like behind the scenes about it and about Wes Craven and everything. So there's a lot more to that film and it should have been one that was not liked by diehard Scream fans, but is quite well accepted into it and quite well liked. And I liked it too. But there are things about it, like if I'm looking at just how I look at most movies and I analyze things, I don't know the reveal with the killer at the end, I'm not 100% on, but it's still solid. Like it's still good, but there's just some elements about it that I'm just kind of like, I mean, if you just maybe tweaked this one thing or two, then this would be like, oh, mwah, this would be perfect. But there's a couple things that I'm just remembering that I'm just kind of like, kind of a little bit needs a little bit of tweaking, and then I'll be satisfied. But it does well with that, and it felt like a good send off. But of course, when I was watching that one, I knew there was another one and then another one to come after that, because that's the one I was going to see in theaters. Fifth one felt very hodgepodge, tacked on, didn't need it. Like what are you doing? And like they feel like they need to bring back certain characters. Like I really would like to ask them at that time, what do you think Scream is at that point? They're introducing things that weren't an element of anything before and trying to make connections that weren't there. And a lot of people don't like the addressing of the audience in that one, but I'm not as concerned about that specific point, but that is an element as well. It's a full scene that is like integral usually to the Scream franchise that they thought that they had to do in here, and they didn't really do that one very well. And what they send offs for characters, where characters were in this, doesn't seem to really follow up with where they maybe could have been. It's pretty much a Last Jedi type of vibes. A lot of people feel with it, and yeah, when I end up rewatching that one, it'll be interesting to see what I think, because the sixth one has a lot more a lot more connection than connecting stuff with the fifth one. But the sixth one I think is better than the fifth one. There are a lot more redeeming qualities in the sixth film that make it, I think, worth a watch. But there's still a lot of things in it that are mighty cringe, and oh my god, man. Again, if you want to like hear my more elaborated and in-depth thoughts, I guess I did live streams talking about these with Justin Proper on the channel here in the live stream section. If you guys want to check those out, like I said, once I rewatch them, I think I want to do like either another live stream talking about them with people, or maybe some kind of dedicated videos, because I love this freaking franchise, and it's just like it's baffling that I like it so much. I mean, I want there to be stuff with some of the characters, but I feel like the way that horror films work, slashers and the Scream franchise alone, it's the kind of thing that they would never really make. And based on where they're going, it's something they'd never even touch. Like, I wouldn't mind if they were to make another film with Sydney and have us follow her, and like meeting her first relationship where she can trust the person, and her having kids, and like how does she deal with everything? She's dealt with so much in her life. How prepared is she for this stuff? How paranoid is she? Can she really get along with people? Can she blend? Can she like fit in society well enough? I mean, the Scream 5 and 6 try to have you believe that, I guess. Like, but they skip the interesting aspects of it. They hint that she's got a husband and she's got kids and everything, which is great for the character, but it sucks that we don't get to see the character get there, because everything that she experienced every time she finds, like, the first film was her boyfriend. Second film, like, her boyfriend got killed in front of her by the guy, and she had mistrust feelings about the boyfriend, and that was wrongly placed, but for good reason though. And like, she had her own family member turn on her and like kill a whole bunch of people. She's probably got a lot of freaking trust issues with this. That would be a great story to see that play out, but probably not going to get anything like that. And then, like I said, Scream 6 had a couple of things that made me think of ideas that could be interesting to see, but it would just be still feel kind of tacked on. The fourth one was like a really solid ending to a franchise, and I feel like franchises can end. Can you just say, hey, you know what? Positively, no more in the franchise. Done. We're done. Can you just say we're done? Franchises need to learn this seriously. It's something that I think a lot of people disagree with. Like, Star Wars can go on forever, Lord of the Rings can go on forever, Marvel can go on forever, blah blah blah. Well, why end things ever? You can just always make a story in the universe and go on forever. I get it, I get it, and you want to have these characters go through a bunch of different things, but when something is finished, then you can always go back to it as it was, and it's untainted. It's not dragged through the mud. It's not changed, and you can have it just stand up on its own 2 feet, and it doesn't get muddied through with other stuff. It doesn't have other films make those worse or anything. It can just stand on its own, and it's locked away, and it's preserved, and it's finished. I wish that we had that a lot more with some movies, but anyway, this is a shorter video giving you my thoughts on Scream in case you didn't see any of the live streams I did talking about them. So it's like a shorter condensed area with it. So that's all I got for this stream, I guess. And I'm looking forward to talking more about Scream in the future. If you guys are Scream fans and want to talk about that with me sometime or ask questions in the comments, feel free. And I'll see you later.